You can go now. The nest was tucked inside a hole under our windowsill. Carla spotted it first. Bits of newspaper stuck out of it and fluttered at the faintest hint of wind. Yet they clung tightly to its edge and did not fall down onto the courtyard from a 7th-floor height. It looked as if a small tail wiggled in the hole, a sign that it was not empty, but filled with invisible life. Carla saw it from our neighbor's balcony, where we would sneak off to spend entire afternoons watching people behind their windows. From there, we studied the details of the building's facade and pictured what life behind our own window looked like from the outside. Carla claimed she had a better eyesight than me, and she swore upon our dog's life that in the midst of the straw and newspaper filling the hole, there were dozens of eggs. From that day on, she became obsessed with it. Every afternoon after school, Carla lowered the shirt out of the window and let the sleeves graze the hole, as if tickling it, with the hope that whatever was sheltered inside would come out. It was one of those few unexplored places around our building of which she and I were not afraid, and which could not possibly contain nor hide anything bigger than us. One day, when our mother was not home, Carla grabbed a chair, brought it to the window, and stepped up on it. "What are you doing?" I said. "I want to see how this is made," she said. "It's dangerous," I said. "Don't worry, help me and hold my legs." I was scared but excited that for once Carla and I were on a mission together, that she saw me as her ally and not as the little sister she got rid of when she was doing her 11-year-old things that 8-year-olds were not allowed to do or see. "Are you sure?" I asked. On the chair, Carla's upper body, towering over me, seemed to be suspended in the sky, peeking out from behind her shoulders. "Do what I tell you," she said, and leaned out over the window as if she was diving into the sea. I sank my knees to the floor and hugged her legs with my whole body, holding them as tightly as I could. Stella, our dog, was barking and jumping up against the wall beside me. I waited for my sister Head to come back up, like when I wait for her to surface out of the water, afraid that she might have drowned. I thought I was losing my grip when she screamed, yelling that she had the nest in her hands. I pulled her toward me, and we both fell to the floor. "I did it," she said, her excitement canceling the scare out of her heart and mine. She opened her fist, and small twigs, some neatly braided, others loose and disentangled, scattered onto the tile floor. Stella sniffed the twigs, scarfed them, then spat them out. 2 eggs rolled softly on the tiles. They were the size of ping-pong balls, the color of clay, streaked with brown stains. They didn't look alive to me. Carla grabbed them before the dog did. "Give me one," I said. "But be careful." Carla placed one egg in my hands. It was cold and felt like stone. "They look like Play-Doh. Are you sure they're real?" I said. "Of course they're real," she snapped, as if responding to a personal insult. "Let's shake them and see if there is something inside." "They're not Kinder Surprise eggs," she snickered. I shook my head hard. Carla turned and shook hers too. "They're empty. There's nothing inside," I said, irritated. "Stella, come here." I put the egg under the dog's nose. "What are you doing?" Carla yelled. "It's a test. If Stella wants to eat it, they're real. If not, they're clay." Stella sniffed my egg and turned away, uninterested. "You see, it's Play-Doh. I bet you made them and put them in the hole to trick me," I said. "I didn't make them." "Yes, you did." "I didn't." "You did too," I yelled, and banged my hand on the floor. A warm, sticky fluid slid between my fingers. On the tiles, the ruffled outline of a tiny winged body dissolved quietly into a yellow and orange pool. It looked like egg yolk whipped with cherry tomato sauce. "Look what you did. I told you they were real," Carla sobbed. I fell silent. The churn in my stomach told me I was standing before something broken and irreparable. I watched Stella dip her tongue into the pool, greedily slurping up the mush, and I hoped she would finish it all, that nothing would be left of the mess I made. "It's disgusting, Stella, stop!" Carla shouted. To my relief, Stella kept licking and licking until the tiles were sparkling clean. Carla's right eyebrow was twitching, and that's how I knew she was furious. She stood up and headed toward the door without saying a word. "What are you going to do with that egg?" I asked. "You killed yours, I'll brood mine." I sat on the floor for a while, hugging my guilt, then began to clean the evidence of our first and probably last sisterly adventure. I collected the flakes of the broken shell, the straw, and the little twigs that Stella had spat out. I crushed them into dust and hurried to scoop it under the rug. That night and a few after it, I couldn't sleep. Outside our window, a persistent flapping of wings. Inside, Carla's whispers and laments like a prayer. I leaned forward from the bunk bed above hers, and in the dim light cast across the curtains, the egg seemed alive and glowing in her hand. "You'll be okay," Carla murmured, rubbing the egg between her palms. "I will save you." Carla kept the egg wrapped in a handkerchief under her pillow for a week, and every night she was careful not to squash it with her head. She said she would keep it warm until it hatched. She was sure a wondrous bird would come out of it. It would be her new pet, and she would call it Tweety Bird. "Tweety Bird stinks," I told her one night. "It's you farting." "No, I'm not." "Yes, you are. You stink. Can't you see the shell is cracked and all wrinkled? It looks like grandma's skin," I said. "It's sprouting wings. Wings don't stink. You're jealous. You're just jealous you don't have one." That night, a smell of rotten eggs rose from my sister's pillow and hung in our room like the spirit monster that hides under children's beds. Even Stella, who always stayed with us at night, left the room with disgust on her face. The next morning, Carla woke up early. She jumped out of bed as if she were late for school, but it wasn't late, and the room was still enveloped in darkness and a foul smell. She took the egg from under her pillow, opened the window, and with no hesitation, she flung it high in the air. "You can go now," she said. She stood by the window, motionless, except for her eyebrow twitching. She squinted her eyes and peered for a long time into the now bright and sunlit sky, as if waiting for Tweety Bird to fly by. Then suddenly, she slammed the window hard, drew the curtains, and night fell over us again.